2 summers back, I watched a man pay $10 for a rusty plane at a garage sale. He took it home, wiped it down with an oily rag, didn't polish it, didn't fix it, just wiped it, and sold it that same weekend for $2,200. $10 in, one rag, $2,200 out. And the man who sold it to him, he'd had that plane on his garage wall for 30 years, right next to 4 more just like it. He used it to hold the door open. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which old tools are worth 100 times what you think, because the difference between the $10 plane and the $2,200 plane is not the rust. They look identical from 6 feet away. The difference is written right on the iron, in castings, stamps, and patent dates, and reading it takes 30 seconds once you know where to look. My name is Harlan Boone. I've spent 40 years working at state auctions and picking barns across the Corn Belt, and today we're counting down the 10 old hand planes hiding in garages and barns right now. The ones the scrap man prays you never flip over. Drop a comment, tell me your state and what's hanging in your shop. I read every single one, and the comments pick what we hunt next. And stay to number 1, because it's not iron at all. It's a piece of wood with a man's name stamped on it, and that name makes it the most valuable American plane there is. And the story behind the name is better than the money. Now, straight talk before we count anything, same as always. Most old planes are $15 to $40 tools. Every barn in this country has a rusted number 5 that's worth exactly what a good hamburger costs. Out of 100 planes I handle in a season, maybe 6 climb past $100. But the 6 are out there, they look almost identical to the $15 ones, and the difference is written right on the iron, in castings, patent dates, and stamps for anybody who learns to read it. So here's your 30-second reading lesson. First, the frog. That's the angled iron seat the blade sits on. Pull the lever cap, lift the blade, and look at the casting just behind the frog. The old Stanleys have patent dates cast right into the bed, and those dates are a birth certificate. 2 dates means one era, 3 dates means another. Write down what you see. The collectors call this type studying, and it can double a price. Second, the knob up front. A short, squat knob means an older plane than a tall one. They went tall around World War I. Third, the finish. That black paint on the casting is called Japanning, and original Japanning is money. Which brings me to the wire wheel. Put it down. I mean it. Every week somebody takes a $200 plane, grinds it shiny on a bench wheel, sprays it gloss black, and turns it into a $60 plane that looks like a toy. Collectors pay for honest. Wipe the grime, oil the rust. Stop there. The crud washes off. The value you grind off never comes back. All right. Number 10. Number 10 is the plane you already own, the Stanley Bailey No. 5, the jack plane. There are more number 5s in American barns than there are barns. Most are $20 to $60, and that's fine. But the number 5 is where you practice your reading, because the same plane in an earlier suit of clothes climbs. Flip the blade, read the bed casting. If you find the older patent dates, a low squat knob, and the word Bailey cast in the toe, you're holding a plane from before the First War, and clean early ones bring 100 and up. And run your finger under the sole if the bottom is grooved with little channels instead of flat. That's a corrugated model, and corrugated always brings a premium. Same tool, different decade, 3 times the money. That's the whole game in one plane. Number 9 is the sleeper brand. Miller's Falls, out of Massachusetts. Everybody hunts Stanley, so Miller's Falls hangs on the nail all weekend at half the price it deserves. Tool users have caught on that the machining on a good Miller's Falls is every bit Stanley's equal, and prices are moving. The tell is the lever cap, that top clamp piece. Miller's Falls used a two-piece cap with a hinge and the name in a flowing script across it. Clean ones bring 40 to 150. At a shed sale in Owatonna, Minnesota, I gave $8 for a number 9 smoother wearing its original decal on the handle. Decal alone told me nobody had ever sanded it. $95, 20 minutes of wiping. Number 8 is Sargent, out of New Haven, and the letters to hunt are V.B.M. Sargent stamped their best line, very best made, and they meant it. These were the planes the hardware stores sold against Stanley, and the ones marked V.B.M on the blade, and the bed run 60 to 250, with the big jointers doing better. Here's the quiet part. A lot of Sargents went out under store brands. Names like Craftsman before the war were often Sargent Iron underneath. Same casting, cheaper name, and the picker who knows the casting shape buys the store brand for 10 and sells the truth for 80. Number 7 is the Swiss Army knife of planes, the Stanley No. 45 combination plane. It's the one in the wooden box with a rack of cutters, nickel-plated, covered in knobs and rods, looks like a steam engine had a baby with a sewing machine. One plane did the work of 20 grooves, beads, tongues. 60, 80 years later, the box matters more than the plane. A 45 with its full set of cutters and the original box brings 150 to 350. Missing the cutters, cut that in half and then some. So before you carry the plane out of the barn, dig for the little wooden cutter boxes. They're usually within 6 feet of it in a drawer wrapped in a rag. And its big brother, the 55, with the tilting seats, does 250 to 600 complete. The parts are the money. Leave nothing behind. Number 6 is the wall of wooden planes every antique mall in America has. The molding planes, $1 a piece if you buy the bin. 90 of 100 are 10 to 20 $5 decorations. Here's what the dealers hope you never learn. Read the toe. Every wooden plane carries stamps on its front end, the maker who made it and often the carpenter who owned it. Simple profiles are common as gravel, but the wide complex ones, crown molders, the ones that cut a whole ceiling profile in one pass, bring 150 to 600. And if the name on the toe is an 18th century maker, the price stops being about the tool at all. Hold that thought. Number 1 is coming. Halfway, now we get to the planes worth driving for. Number 5 is the Stanley No. 62, the low-angle jack. Blade sits down flat like a sports car hood, made for end grain, and the modern boutique makers built their whole business copying it. That's how good the design was. Users and collectors fight over originals, 250 to 600 for a clean one. But, and here is the 62's cruel joke, that low mouth is thin iron, and half the survivors have a hairline crack right at the mouth's corner. Hold it to the light and look hard, because a crack turns 600 into 80. I bought one at a consignment barn in Sioux Falls without checking. The crack was under the grime, waiting on me like a bear trap. $80 lesson, and I'll die before I make it twice. Number 4, we enter bedrock country. Stanley's premium line, the frog beds down on a full machine seat, solid as its name. The later ones have flat-sided cheeks, look almost military, numbers 604 through 608. The little 604 smoother brings 100 to 250. The long 608 joiner 3 to 600. The word bedrock is cast right in the toe. You will find these at farm sales priced like common Baileys, because at arm's length, that's what they look like. The toe casting is the tell. Read the toe. Number 3 is the same bedrock in an older body, the round side models, before about 1911, where the cheeks curve over soft like a loaf of bread. Rarer, earlier in climbing, 400 to 1,000 for most sizes in honest shape. And the star is the tiny 602, a bedrock the size of a sandwich. Collectors will drive across 3 states for a 602. And clean ones clear 1,500. Round sides, bedrock on the toe, small size, that combination on a barn shelf is a mortgage payment wearing dust. Number 2 is the one they put in the toy box. The Stanley No. 1. Smallest bench plane Stanley ever made, 5.5 inches, fits in your coat pocket. Grown men look ridiculous using one, and that's partly why so few sold, and why so few survived. Here's where they hide. People who don't know assume it's a child's toy or a salesman's sample, so number 1s end up in toy boxes, sewing baskets, and junk drawers. It's the $10 plane from the top of this video, the one that held the door open for 30 years. Honest ones bring 800 to 2,500. 2 warnings. It has been counterfeited, recast copies exist, and a genuine one has crisp, thin castings the fakes can't match, and its slightly bigger brother, the number 2, is money as well, 3 to 800. Small is not junk. In planes, small is rare, and rare is rent. And number 1 isn't iron at all. It's a name, Cesar Chelor. Wrentham, Massachusetts, 1750s. A plane maker named Francis Nicholson, the first documented commercial plane maker in America, worked his shop with an enslaved craftsman named Cesar Chelor. When Nicholson died in 1753, his will freed Chelor and left him tools, timber, and shop room. And Cesar Chelor did something remarkable. He set up as a maker in his own name, the first documented black tool maker in American history. And for 30 years he stamped his work, C.E. Chelor, Wrentham, living, he was respected. 250 years later, his planes are the crown jewels of American tool collecting. A plain Chelor molding plane brings $2,000 to $6,000. The finest have gone past $20,000 at auction. That's a piece of wood, gentlemen, worth more than a tractor, because of the name on the toe and the story in the name. So when I tell you to read the toe stamps on every wooden plane in the bin, that is why. History hides in plain sight, and sometimes it signs its work. If your granddad's shop is still hanging on its nails, tap subscribe. Every week we walk another barn, another trade, another pile of old iron everybody else walked past, and I show you exactly what the pickers and the scrap men would rather you never learn. So here's the recap, short and sweet. Read the bed for patent dates. Read the toe for the maker. Corrugated bottoms, low knobs, round cheeks, old original Japanning and full cutter sets, money, cracked mouths, walk away. And the wire wheel stays on its hook. Your homework costs nothing. This week, go lift every plane in your shop and read it. Bed, toe, mouth, knob, 5 minutes. Then come tell me in the comments what was written on yours and where you're watching from, because the best find gets talked about in the next episode. Next week, the crock in your cellar. If it's got blue painted on it, do not carry it out until you've watched. Read the iron before you sell the iron. I'll see you at the next sale.